Hello, Kelly Blatnik with Blatnik Law here to discuss settlement agreements or mediation agreements. Have you ever heard the saying or phrase that a good mediation agreement or mediated agreement is one where both parties walk away a little upset? But if one party walks away angry and the other one's happy, it's a failure. That's something common I heard in law school. I still hear it today, and I disagree, and here's why. The beauty and benefit of a settlement agreement or a mediated agreement is that the parties are able to tailor what they're going to do better than what the court can do, because the court is limited in the relief that the court can give, both in family law cases, civil litigation, and whatever else goes on. My preference for a mediated settlement agreement is that both parties walk away satisfied. Ideally, both parties walk away happy, but I don't think that's even possible in litigation. If it does, great. But here's why I say satisfied. When a party comes in for a consultation, and this is going to be an older case, and I'm not going to discuss names involved, but give you an idea of how I believe thinking outside the box allows a client, both sides, to walk away satisfied. It was before the changes in the tax law, and at the time, alimony was taxed to the receiver, and alimony decreased the tax liability of the payer because we have a graduated tax plan, and so the less money you make, the smaller percentage of that money goes to taxes. So husband comes into my office for a consultation, and he is very upset and says, I cannot pay alimony. Cannot do it, not gonna do it, not paying alimony. I'm like, okay, listen to him, heard him out, and then we engaged in discovery. And of course, the husband came into the office saying, I'm not paying alimony, because he went online and could find that he was probably going to have to pay alimony for the facts and circumstances of his dissolution. So we get into discovery and we find out that wife had racked up a lot of credit card debt solely in her name. But because of the state I was in and the law at the time, all that debt was also half his, even though he didn't incur it. He didn't know anything about it. So just be careful about that depending on the state that you're in. So we go to mediation, and it was obviously, there were lots of emotions involved. And at the end of the mediation agreement, this gentleman who was adamant he wasn't going to pay alimony walked away happy he was paying alimony, and the wife walked away happy at what she got. And what we had done is that we decided, because his tax liability would be less if he paid alimony, and she didn't want to transfer any of the debt over to his name. Don't know why, don't care. But the agreement was that she would keep all the debt, and rather than him pay any of that debt, he'd just pay her alimony. And it worked out. So, I brought out my nerdy glasses and my big calculator, and we were crunching numbers and running stuff, that financially it was better for him to pay alimony than it was to take on half the debt or even pay her for half the debt. And it was an interesting outcome that someone who came to me said, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to pay alimony. But at the end of the day, both parties walked away satisfied because we looked at what was the bigger issue. The bigger issue was husband was afraid he wasn't going to be able to survive. He wasn't sure how he's going to be able to eat. And those were some legitimate concerns, and we were able to address them so that both sides walked away satisfied. So ideally, a settlement agreement gets what both sides need. And sometimes you have to think out of the box. Sometimes you have to tailor a settlement agreement that maybe doesn't follow what the judge would do, or more often than not, a settlement agreement doesn't follow what the judge would do, because if the judge is just going to do it, why bother settling? So whenever I hear the phrase that both parties should walk away from mediation upset or a little dissatisfied or a little uncomfortable, I'm like, well, ideally, the attorneys think outside the box, listen to their clients, find out, is it really that they don't want to pay alimony, or is that they're worried about how they're going to eat? And find a way to make it so that both parties walk away satisfied and able to move on with their lives with a better life and a better situation than what brought them to file the suit.